All right, parents, I want to make a video today about how to talk to your kids after the round of golf. Maybe it was a tournament round, maybe it was a casual round, but this is mostly for after some kind of competitive play, whether it's Operation 36, PGA Junior League, JGAC, high school golf, US Kids, whatever the case might be. And as a parent of a golfer, it's important to understand that tournament golf is generally a disappointing endeavor. It's not like other sports where you win some, you lose some. Mostly you just lose some. It's hard to win tournaments. I think I've only won about 10 events in my whole entire life, playing some 500 tournament rounds at least, as I think about it. You just don't win very much. And so, not that you have to win to be happy. It's not the point of this. But a lot of times in a tournament especially, your kids are going to feel bummed, disappointed, upset, embarrassed quite often, because of the nature of the game in scoring in golf. It's just not like other sports. It's like in running or swimming or almost any other sport. It's not like you forget how to run or swim from one day to the next, but it sure can feel like you forgot how to play golf for an entire day or a stretch of holes or something, where you go out and you shoot a terribly embarrassing number. And parents that play golf understand that, and some of you parents may not play golf and not understand it, but that is the way it is. So being able to have good conversations with your kids after a round of golf is a really important part of their development, and I just want to offer some advice on what to do and what not to do, so that you can keep your kids moving in the right direction, getting better at golf, having a good perspective on things. So, let's just say, and to be fair, no two kids are the same. Everybody's a little bit different. They all handle good rounds and bad rounds differently. But some handle it more. Some take it harder than others. We'll just say that. So, a couple things to consider in general. Number one, as a parent, we want to create like a circle of improvement, so to speak, that will last a long time. It can be for golf or any activity. We want our kids to go out there, play their round, play their competition, get done, be able to evaluate how they did, get a game plan in place for the next little bit of practice, the next week of practice, the next month of practice, whatever the case might be, and then go out and try again. And we want to instill that kind of a nice circle where you play golf, you think about what you could have done better, you go work on that, you play golf again, you see if you got better or not. If you did, you keep getting better that way. If you didn't, you figure out a different solution, etc. Unfortunately, kids don't have that, always have that kind of mindset. They're much more emotional, and they're not maybe thinking that way all the time. They think that if they have a bad day, it's the end of the world. Trust me, I was a junior golf. I played tons of junior golf events, and it put me into tears all the time. To be fair, I think I've cried at every level of golf. I've cried in junior golf, I've cried in high school golf, I've cried in college golf, I've even cried in professional golf several times, unfortunately. So that's totally normal, and it's unfortunate that it's that way, but that's the way it is. So as a parent, our job, or your job, is to help them get through this terrible up and down game of this high variance game where the scores are going to be all over the place. Your skills will generally improve over time, but your scores are going to look like this. They're going to be all over the map. So helping your kids get through that is one of your number one priorities. So a couple things to do and not do. So after the round of golf, let's say whether you watch the round or not, first question to ask is never ask this question. You never ask, what did you shoot? Never lead with that question. That's like the worst possible start, because if the kids had a bad day, they're going to be embarrassed about it, and it's going to put them in a bad mood right away. They're not going to want to talk about it. And we don't want that. So you want to ask open-ended questions like, how did it go? How was the day out there? Did you have a good time? You want to try to shift the conversation to positive things. If you'll be able to tell right away if they had a bad day. You'll know it. And if they had a good day, you're going to hear about every shot. So get ready for a nice long story on the way home. But if they had a bad day, if they had a good day, it's a pretty easy car ride home. The only questions you might ask after a good day are like, what could have made it better? You know, you shot a great round. What could have been better? What are you going to work on between now and next time so that that good round could even be better? And they'll be really open to that. Like, if they have a good day, they're all about like, oh man, I shot a 80 and it would have been a 76 if I was putting a little bit better. Oh my gosh, I played so good. Like they can't wait to go practice their putting if they played good so that they can maybe shoot that 76 next time. The tough part is when they play bad. So when they play bad, you know, you'll find out what they shot eventually. Don't lead with that. You'll be able to tell, you know, some kids get pretty withdrawn and don't want to talk about it. Good questions to ask are, you know, did you hit some good shots? What was the best shot you hit today? Did you make any birdies? Did you make any pars? Did you like any of the people you played with? Just get them talking a little bit about maybe something that happened that was good during the day. Some kids you might have to wait until later on. You might have to wait till later that day to talk about it. If they really don't want to talk about it, just don't force it. I mean, you wouldn't want to talk about it if you just went out and embarrassed yourself and had a terrible day. Just let it rest for a little bit. You can bring it up a little bit later. If they're willing to talk a little bit though, then, you know, talk about the good stuff first. Let's get that positive mindset going. What did you do well? And then you can talk about, well, what happened when it got ugly? Was it, you know, hit a few bad tee shots? Did you make a huge number and get all, you know, worried and anxious and you know, the wheels fell off? What was it? Ask them, you know, how they, it's kind of a tough one to ask, but you kind of want to know, like, after you made that big number, that big mistake, were you able to bounce back and be okay, or did it stick with you? You know, and for a lot of the kids, it's going to stick with them for a few holes. And ask them how long did it take how many holes did it take you to, you know, get over it? And obviously the goal would be to minimize that number. You know, ask them what you can do to help them get ready for the next one. If they're ready for that question, they might not want to talk about the next tournament. They might just want to withdraw. Trust me. So you might want to save that for the next day or later that night. If they don't want to talk about golf, talk about something else. You know, what are we having for dinner? Should we go get an ice cream? Maybe we'll go to the pool tomorrow. Whatever, something outside of golf. Just get it off golf topic if it was really bad and you can tell they don't want to talk about it. You can talk about it once they've kind of calmed down. But if you know, the things we want to avoid are just putting all the emphasis on the score, trying to talk about the bad shots right off the rip. You know, if they don't want to talk about it, just let them be for a little bit, and let them calm down, get their emotions under control. If they just had a bad day, they're probably pretty upset, and, you know, bring it up at another time in a positive way. Like, what can we do? Do we need to go practice your drives? Do we need to go practice your putts? Do we want to go get a golf lesson? And things like that. So hopefully that helps, you know, your next conversations with your kids after their round of golf. Some kids care more than others, and that's totally fine. The ones that care the most will take it the hardest. So, you know, just because they're taking it hard doesn't mean that's a bad thing. We just have to make sure we're kind of not putting too much emphasis on their golf score at a young age, which is why we don't start off that conversation with, what did you shoot? Hopefully that makes sense. Please let me know if you have questions. If you have trouble talking to your child after a round of golf, feel free to reach out to me via text, phone, email, whatever, and we'll figure out what's going on and how we can make it better.